Hi, I'm Mike. I'm an American who's been living here in Paraguay for the last 15 years, and I make videos about Paraguay and my life here. And today I'm here at a tire vendor here in Luque. We're getting new tires put on the company car, and I thought I'd take an opportunity to make a film here about some tips about having a car here in Paraguay. As you can see, take a spin around here. This is basically the entrance to Luque. There's our vehicle. And we are apparently expecting some Antifa riots here. We got the bricks all lined up for them. So, but anyway, I'll give a couple tips. I think I got 5 of them for having a car here or vehicle here in Paraguay, and going from least important probably to most important. Now, the first tip I would say is when you're getting a car, you want to get a car that has a decent ground clearance to it. You don't want something with frame sitting low or your axles sitting low. And the reason being is that if you live in the city, especially Luque, there are a hell of a lot of speed bumps. And every time you go over a speed bump, your axle's gonna bottom out, or you're gonna hear your muffler drag across the top of it because they're not uniform in size. Some of them are very, very tall. And in Luque, there was a scandal because basically the municipality, the town council basically got a kickback for putting in all of these speed bumps. So there's speed bumps everywhere, and the more material they use, the more they can charge. So some of them are pretty high. Anyway, bottom line is you don't want to have something like this vehicle, like what we have here, a Toyota Ist. You can see it up on the lift. You don't want something like that, or an older Nissan, any of these really compact cars. You don't really want to have that because, like I said, every time you go over the speed bump, it's gonna get annoying. And also, there's a problem with water in the city, especially in Asuncion. Certain areas flood. So the higher up you are, the better. I mean, if you can have a truck or an SUV or something, you're better off. Certainly, you got to watch it with the compact cars. So the next one, I will say, the next tip is that you want to avoid buying a Cambio Volante car, a car that's had its steering wheel changed from one side to the other. I mean, this happens because cars are imported from Chile here, used cars that come from Japan, and Paraguayan companies and people go to Chile and they import the cars here, and they have to be changed because in Japan they drive on the other side of the road. So, and when they do this, they're pulling out the whole steering column and they're modifying the front end. So, and keep in mind, they're unplugging all the wiring and everything in the dashboard and everything like that. So they tend to be problematic. And I can say, like, for example, the vehicle I just showed you, the company car, is a Cambio Volante. And we have problems with the wiring. We've had problems with the wiring, with the AC. And I personally own a van, a Toyota van, 1998, I believe it is, that we have had problems because when they changed the steering column, they had to modify the rack for the rack and pinion system. And so steering has always been harder. You know, they get that clunking noise every once in a while, and we've had to also change the rack because it wore out and it was a problem. They had to get a new one, modify it. We had some issues until finally we were able to get the correct rack for that model and take it to somebody who knows what the hell they're doing, who modified it. And since then, in about 3 years or so, we haven't really had any problems with it. But they're problematic. They're cheaper, but I wouldn't recommend going that route. If you want a used car, get a used car here from Paraguay. It's not that much more expensive. You save yourself some headaches. Next up, car insurance. You want to make sure you have good car insurance, not just for protection of your vehicle, but for protection of third parties. The road out here, I'll take advantage and show you out here. You can see the traffic. Okay, this is Luque on a Thursday at 1 in the afternoon. So this is nothing. And there's a lot of traffic here, and there's a lot of motorcycles and a lot of people who are on the road who shouldn't really be on the road. And you know, here in Paraguay, the rules of the road are taken basically as a suggestion as opposed to actual law. So what happens is that you get people doing all kinds of crazy things, passing you on the right, weaving in and out of traffic, and it's just nothing like if you're coming from the Western. If you're coming from a Western country, it's going to be a little bit shocking when you first start driving here. But anyway, you want to have maximum coverage for third parties, because God forbid you get in an accident and somebody gets hurt. Keep in mind, you're the foreigner. You know, even if that person's in the wrong, there's even cases here where, you know, motorcycles are the worst. They totally don't obey any rules of the road. And then when somebody gets on a motorcycle, gets hurt in an accident or killed, God forbid, the attitude is actually, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like, well, you big bad rich guy with your SUV, you know, you slammed into this poor little guy who just has his motorcycle. Never mind that he's the idiot who caused the problem. So there's kind of a bias. So to avoid problems and stuff, if you do get in an accident and you are found responsible or whatever, you want to have a good amount of coverage to support any medical care that this person might need, or God forbid, funeral costs or something like that. So it's better, it's well worth the investment to have good car insurance, okay? The next tip, I guess this is like number 2 out of 5, basically. We're getting up to number 1. Don't bring your vehicle from your home country. I don't recommend that at all. You know, first of all, you're bringing your vehicle from Western Europe or from North America. You're going to pay the shipping costs. You're going to pay all associated costs at the port, and you know, whatever they might get you for taxes. It depends how it enters, but and then you're going to have that vehicle here. You know, first of all, I see people coming here and bringing like their nice Porsche, you know, 1984 Porsche Carrera or whatever from Germany. You know, that was meant to run on the Autobahn, not on the roads here in Paraguay. I mean, it's a sin that the damage that vehicle's gonna go through, and its suspension and everything else. Only recently did Paraguay start to upgrade their highways. So yeah, you could take it up on the highway and air it out a little bit, but for the most part, it's not worth bringing it here. And 2 other main things: you bring your beautiful car here, you're gonna be feeling like an idiot when you're stuck in traffic and some guy on a motorcycle scrapes your whole side with his handlebar and then takes off, and now you got, you know, a nice damaged car to try and get body work on. And also another issue, we personally ran into this. We bought a used car here, and it was a Peugeot. It was a nice car. It was a one owner vehicle from a pretty wealthy family here. We got it at a good price. But the issue was parts. And Peugeot was also manufactured in Argentina, but those parts wouldn't jive with what the European model needed. And we were lucky enough to find a mechanic who specialized, a European trained mechanic, and he would fly the parts in special from Europe because he didn't trust what the Europeans would send here. He considered that they send parts that come out with slight defects or whatever, that they shipped them over to South America. So he had a registered address in Spain, and he would have his parts shipped there and then shipped from Spain to here. So it was a significant amount of cost difference, and like I say, just another headache. I wouldn't recommend bringing your car from. There's plenty of vehicles here, and that leads me into the number one. My number one recommendation is, if you come here and you have the financial resources, you should go ahead and get a new car. And the reason for doing that isn't so much to to have the new car and to drive it around or whatever. It's basically to avoid getting into the whole issue of mechanics and repairs here, because that's a thorny issue. And I mean, we've had bad experiences with mechanics here. And if you get the new vehicle, you've generally got that under warranty for about 3 years. You know, you can get into a system where you trade it in every 3 years. You get your maintenance done at the dealership. Now, generally in the States, I wouldn't recommend that because it's very expensive. But in the States, there's more control over, maybe not such great control, but it's more control than here over mechanic shops and repair shops and things like this. So basically, I would say if you can do it, get the new car, trade it in every 3 years. That way it's always under warranty. Keep up with your maintenance, and you're not going to really be find yourself in issues where suddenly you got to bring your you got a 7 or 8 year old car and you got to bring it to the mechanic and he doesn't know. I mean, there's mechanic shops here that I've been in where they rebuild engines and they don't know what a micrometer is or plastic gauge. So I mean, they basically take it apart, sandpaper, the camshaft, the crankshaft, put in new bearings. I mean, it's like it's a very, very unsophisticated deal in a lot of these shops. Now, there are some good shops here. Like I said, the dealership shops, they're trained up guys. But anyway, I think I'm gonna cut it here now. I mean, I basically said what I wanted to say. Our vehicle is probably getting ready. Oh, here it is. He's already waiting. They already put on 2 new tires and did the alignment. So our Toyota Ist is ready to go. And if for anybody who's curious too, it was basically $400,000 for 2 tires. So that, correction, $400,000 per tire. We got 2 put on, and that included balancing, and like 70 mil was for the alignment. So the 70 mil is basically a little less than $10, and then the 40 is something like $60, $60 a tire, something like that. But tires are coming out of Korea, I believe. Kumho is the brand. But anyway, that's about it for today. I'm sweating. Time to get back into my office and get some AC. So adios, amigos.